Our top news, Mulayam Singh Yadav, the Samajwadi Party patriarch and three-time Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, died this morning at around 8:15. This morning, he was 82 years old. He was considered a key component in opposition politics, though ill health had forced him out of the limelight on the national stage over the last couple of years. Popularly referred to as Netaji by Samajwadi Party leaders and supporters, Mr. Yadav had also served as the country's defence minister. He had been admitted to Gurugram's Medanta Hospital on the 22nd of August. He'd been tackling health issues for several years now. In the last few days, the news had come that he was in critical condition. Now, what we have heard is the last rites of the veteran leader will be held at Saifai, his ancestral village in UP, and UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath, who described the death as irreparable loss, has also said that the last rites of this politician will be held with full state honours, given he was a former Chief Minister, three-time Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. Also, a three-day mourning has been declared in Uttar Pradesh, and tributes are pouring in. You also have the Prime Minister, who put out several tweets after the news broke of Mulayam Singh Yadav's death. The Prime Minister tweeted, "Mulayam Singh Yadav ji distinguished himself in UP and national politics. He was a key soldier for democracy during the emergency. As Defence Minister, he worked for a stronger India. His parliamentary interventions were insightful and emphasized on furthering national interests. I had many interactions with Mulayam Singh ji when I served as Chief Minister of our respective states." The Prime Minister also shared several photographs with Mulayam Singh Yadav over the years. The Prime Minister tweeted, "The close association continued and I always looked forward to hearing his views. His demise pains me. Condolences to his family and lakhs of supporters." Well, let's go across to Sanket for more. And Sanket, three-day mourning, state mourning declared in Uttar Pradesh. Very fitting, given that Mulayam Singh Yadav was such a stalwart of UP politics, though of course in the last few years not so much. He hadn't been very active, and given that he was a three-time Chief Minister of the state.
Well, this is an acknowledgement of the present-day dispensation of the contributions of the former Chief Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav and also the patriarch of the Samajwadi Party. Now, BJP and the SP have had lots of differences in the past. I mean, the kind which none of them shied away from saying very openly, right from the BJP accusing him of killing car sevaks in Ayodhya back in early 90s, to accusing him of being, these statements were very real and on the streets by the BJP, calling him Mullah Mulayam. A very derogatory comment to suggest that he's openly appeasing the Muslims. The point which Mulayam Singh Yadav never really challenged, and it was very open that the MY factor is significant to the Samajwadi Party. And those differences continue up until today, where the Samajwadi Party under Akhilesh Yadav is, bitter political rivals with the BJP. But having said that, we also know that Narendra Modi had praises for Mulayam Singh Yadav also very recently in Parliament, where he said that Mulayam Singh Yadav is a pragmatic leader, he's a tall leader, and this was duly acknowledged by Mulayam Singh Yadav also. So, given this equation, given the seniority of Mulayam Singh Yadav and the years of experience in politics that he has done, I think it is only fitting for the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, to declare a three-day mourning in Uttar Pradesh after the death of this leader.
Right. We are also joined by Sanjay Jha, political analyst, and Aziz Khan, Samajwadi Party spokesperson. Aziz Khan, first to you. Very sad day. The patriarch and the co-founder of Samajwadi Party, Mulayam Singh Yadav, who, as we mentioned, hadn't been so active over the last few years, passing away this morning, and tributes pouring in from across the political spectrum.
जी मैडम, बिल्कुल आप ठीक कह रही हैं। जो हालात पैदा हुए हैं और जिस तरीके से आज पूरे देश में शोक की लहर पैदा हो गई है, जो हालात पैदा हो गए हैं, ये वाकई में बहुत ही बड़ी बात है। क्योंकि माननीय नेताजी वो एक गरीबों के नेता थे, मजलूमों के नेता थे, जरूरतमंदों के नेता थे। जिस तरह वो लोगों से मोहब्बत करते थे और जिस तरह लोगों की मदद करते थे और जिस तरह लोगों के दिलों में बसे हुए थे, वो उसका इससे बड़ा मिसाल नहीं मिल सकता है कि हमेशा उन्होंने संघर्ष किया और लोगों की मदद की, हर वक्त वो खड़े रहे लोगों के लिए। और आज आप देखिए, मैं देख रहा हूं लगातार जिस तरीके से चाहे वो पक्ष हो चाहे विपक्ष हो, वो सभी लोग जिस तरीके से उनकी इज्जत करते हैं, क्योंकि वो कहीं ना कहीं वो राजनीति जो करते थे, वो राजनीति में एक पॉजिटिव फीलिंग रखते थे। वो हमेशा हमेशा उन्होंने अपने विपक्षियों का भी सम्मान किया, उनकी बातों को सुना, उनको आदर दिया। तो ऐसे नेता मेरे ख्याल से शायद जुगों जुगों में पैदा होते हैं, और एक बहुत बड़े युग का अंत हुआ है आज। और वाकई में ये हमारी बहुत बड़ी हमारी पार्टी की बहुत बड़ी नुकसान है, इस देश की बहुत बड़ी क्षति है, समाज की बहुत बड़ी क्षति है। क्योंकि मैं कह सकता हूं कि जो अभी मैं मेदांता में गया हुआ था, अभी मैं रात में लौटा हूं, करीब 3 दिन मैं वहां दिल्ली था, जिस तरीके से लोग उनको चाहते रहे, मोहब्बत करते रहे। मैं देख रहा था कि अभी एक काफी एज था एक शख्स है सर। थैंक यू सर।
जी अजीज जी बोलिए। All right, we seem to have some technical issue there. Sanjay Jha, your thoughts this morning?
Well, Gargi, I think there can be no denying that Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav literally changed the face of Indian politics in the early 1990s. He was a huge icon, not just in Uttar Pradesh, but I would say in the entire Hindi heartland. And one goes back in history, if you go back 3 decades, you find that along with Mr. Lalu Yadav, the two of them literally took the entire focus on the mandal politics, the priority to be given to the backward classes, and put it in the forefront. I think that completely changed what I call is the dynamics of the politics in the north of India. And I think it led to a complete political reconfiguration. And you have to give him credit because end of day, both Lalu Yadav and Mulayam ji were people who were ground up people. I mean, they basically created their own organizational apparatus. They invigorated the young at that point of India, and essentially talked about how the marginalized sections needed to have a political mainstream voice. And I think, frankly, I mean, his death is a definite loss. End of day, but don't deny that his legacy is so powerful. The Samajwadi Party continues to remain, of course, under the leadership of his son Akhilesh, the second largest party in Uttar Pradesh. So, end of day, I think you can see that his efforts have perpetuated the depth and the penetration of the Samajwadi Party and its political philosophy in the most critical state of India. So I would say Mulayam ji's death is a huge loss, undoubtedly, but importantly, his legacy will definitely continue. And I do see that end of day, both Lalu Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav will be talked in the same breath, because both of them, I think, came up at the same time and completely redefined the terrain of Indian politics in the north of India.
Right. We're also hearing the Home Minister has now gone to Medanta. That is where Mulayam Singh Yadav ji passed away. And yes, Sanket, the cremation expected to take place tomorrow?
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. in Saifei, which is his ancestral village, which is about 4 hours away from Delhi. That is where the cremation is going to take place. This is the very stronghold of the Samajwadi Party, the Yadav belt of Itawa, Mainpuri, Karhal and Saifei, which is the ancestral village. Now, one point that Sanjay Jha was making, I wanted to ask him this question. Sanjay Jha, do you feel that one regret that Mulayam Singh Yadav will always have is that he could not keep, the transition within the party from him to someone else or to his heir as smooth as, say, a Lalu Yadav was able to do in Bihar? I mean, we don't see any dispute as far as Tejasvi taking over, but we know what mess the Samajwadi Party was and still is as far as Akhilesh Yadav's leadership. I mean, many people in the party have accepted Akhilesh. He is the national president of the Samajwadi Party. But, from an estranged uncle to all sorts of factions, it's out there for everyone to see even now.
I totally agree with you, Sanket. In fact, their public brawls that led to, Akhilesh being sacked from the party, being re-brought again within 24 hours. I mean, that soap opera did not help the Samajwadi's perception at all. And you're right. I mean, their internecine family feuds did damage the Samajwadi Party's reputation to a great extent, which is why they remained in opposition again. And I do feel that that has been the one significant fault line within the Samajwadi Party. And, I don't think this is an appropriate occasion to probably talk about the repercussions going forward. But you might see that. You might see, the other figureheads suddenly rise, and the uncle and the nephew relationships have been strained very publicly. And I do see hard days because, end of day, even if he was battling a certain illness for the last couple of years, the very presence of somebody as formidable as him would have prevented any kind of unpleasantness from, kind of manifesting itself. But going forward, these are challenges for Akhilesh, no doubt.
All right. Well, let's just take a look at some of the other reactions that have been coming in from the UP Deputy Chief Minister, also from Madhya Pradesh. All right, we'll just get those reactions in a moment. But Sanket, as Sanjay Jha said, maybe not the time to talk about the problems that, Samajwadi Party has gone through. But Mulayam Singh Yadav really came up in politics at a very different time in India, and he established himself as an OBC leader, and now, the second gen really taking over, as you said, Tejashwi Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav, taking over from leaders who really, were at the grassroots level pushing for, when at a time when this caste politics was really taking place and pushing for those who were not for the backward caste at that time, and they really went on and established themselves at that time.
You see, two products of Mandal and Kamandal politics in India who were able to make a mark. On one hand, you had the results of Mandal politics, which was in the form of, and obviously they existed as leaders in the past also, but forming their own and then very strongly establishing themselves as a force to reckon with. As far as Mandal is concerned, you had Mulayam Singh Yadav and Lalu Yadav. And as far as Kamandal is concerned, you have the Bharatiya Janata Party. That's their growth story emanated exactly around the same time. And it's interesting how they did business together in 77. But then by the 89 and 90, they are arch enemies to this day.
Right, Sanjay Jha, anything you'd like to add about how the political landscape itself has changed from the time that you had Lalu Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav really, as young men and student leaders as well, being very active in politics and making a place for themselves, going on, Mulayam Singh Yadav to establish the Samajwadi Party in the 90s, and then a three-time Chief Minister of the state, something even the last time when Akhilesh Yadav in 2012 became Chief Minister, it was seen as the result of Mulayam Singh Yadav's big push in UP, something that Akhilesh Yadav has not been able, to carry on as strongly.
Well, to add to what Sanket mentioned, you see the dominance of the BJP and the decline of the Congress is now become a little polarized. It's got aggravated. And in a great number of ways, it is also causing worries to the regional players as well. I mean, think about it, that a lot of people were expecting the Samajwadi Party to form the government. But, there has now been a move away. You see, with the success of the BJP to be able to create a pan-India narrative and to also consolidate all the caste calculus in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, it is actually not just the Congress that has got marginalized, but it is also parties like the BSP, which you can see is literally, kind of gasping for breath. The Congress, of course, very whitewashed in Uttar Pradesh. But Samajwadi Party equally faces a challenge. I wouldn't call it existential, but it might face a serious erosion if Akhilesh doesn't conduct himself as a 24/7 politician. So I do feel somewhere down the line, you are seeing a gradual reversal again. There was the Congress, which was the single largest party dominating across India, including in UP and other parts of North India. And now, after a long time, you're seeing the return of the BJP. So, end of day, I do believe that, you're going to see a fairly shifting, kind of reality at the ground level, where each and every party will believe that they need to first kind of be a relevant political force before they begin to see that, they can actually be a powerful entity. The BJP is actually kind of in a great number of ways reshaped and redrawn the political map in Uttar Pradesh. And although the Samajwadi Party might take some consolation in being the second largest party in the Uttar Pradesh Assembly, that may still be fleeting. And come the Lok Sabha elections, I do believe once again that the BJP will become even stronger. The Congress hopefully will find some degree of greater scope at the Lok Sabha level, which means that the Samajwadi Party and the BSP face an increasing irrelevance if they don't kind of begin to take on issues as aggressively as they should. I do believe that after the assembly election, I've been very, very nonplussed by how Akhilesh has completely disappeared from being, somebody who ought to be taking up issues in Uttar Pradesh. And that is very mystifying.
All right. Thank you so much, Sanjay Jha, for joining us. Mulayam Singh Yadav passing away this morning in Gurugram in Medanta. His last rites will be held tomorrow at 3 p.m. in his ancestral village of Sefai. And Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Yogi Adityanath, has announced that it will be held with full state honours and also 3 days of state mourning for Uttar Pradesh. Remember, Mulayam Singh Yadav had been the Chief Minister of UP for 3 terms.